The October 4th, 2022 meeting, council meeting for Valley Center will now come to order. Roll call.
Mayor Cicerillo, Councilmember Stamm,
Here.
Councilmember Evans,
Here.
Councilmember Bass,
Here.
Councilmember Anderson,
Here.
Councilmember Gregory. Here. Councilmember Kerstetter,
Here.
Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Colbert.
Here. Please rise for invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to live in this town. Thank you for your presence that is here. And I pray, Lord God, that you would give these men and women the wisdom and discernment to lead this community in your will. Thank you so much for being who you are. And thank you for all that you've given us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Have a motion in a couple of seconds. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is administration agenda, council meeting minutes from September 20th, 2022.
Move to approve the minutes of the September 2022 regular council meeting as presented amended.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have no proclamations or presentations. Next item is item 8, public forum. This is the time of the meeting that anyone from the audience can speak to an item that is not on the agenda. Seeing no one, we will move on. We have no appointments or old business. We'll move on to item 11, new business. Item A, Ridgefield HOA request to lower speed limit.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you this evening about concerns that Ridgefield Homeowners Association has with respect to the traffic in the area along Redbud and Wakefield Streets.
Sir, if you could state your name, please, for the record, and your address.
My name is James Jansen, and I'm president of the Ridgefield HOA. I own a home at 748 Wakefield.
Thank you.
Our community consists of 101 residents, 75 single-family homes, 26 duplexes. They are located along Redbud, Wakefield, and Redbud Courts. The greater majority of these residents are occupied by parents with children ranging from newborn through high school. Among our families in the subdivision are families that are deaf, along with special needs children. At our last HOA meeting, a number of parents brought up the fact that cars and trucks speeding on the Redbud Street in excess of the posted speed limit of 30 miles an hour. Now, granted, they weren't radar, they were just observations, tires squealing, etc. Well, they are concerned about the children that we are playing with and riding their bicycles, scooters, skateboards, etc., and are speeding cars along Redbud. After meeting with them and getting their input, I contacted Brett to see if anything could be done about this situation. He suggested I come before you and present our concerns. Our HOA membership is proposing the following for your consideration and approval. Lower the speed limit from 30 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour, and then follow up and enforce it with electronic monitoring. I don't know if you're aware of it, but at 30 miles an hour, a car goes 44 feet a second. At 20 miles per hour, it's down to 29. There is currently a speed limit sign at the south entrance of the subdivision and at the north entrance of the subdivision with none in between. Speeding usually takes place between the morning between 7 and 9 and late afternoon between 4 and 6. In addition, I was surveying the area and noticed that the playground is not marked with signage at the street noting children at play or caution playground. I would also like for you to consider signage for the deaf-mute family on Wakefield, as they are also a concern and cannot speak or hear. Our HOA is very committed to safety in this and would like for your help with respect to the costs. We have several dedicated volunteers, including myself, who can install the signage if the City of Valley Center will supply the material, signs, posts, and specifications for installation. We understand that the cost of city government can help in the area with respect to the installation of the signage, and have allowed to do so in partnership with you all. In closing, having worked and retired from a Fortune 200 company, making profit was a very important for the survival of the company and the shareholders. Typical business. However, there are two areas of greater importance in companies: safety and environmental. In this case, we are concerned about the safety because of few who violate the posted speed limit. We are very concerned that an accident is going to occur sooner or later. Statistically, it's going to happen. And by slowing people down and enforcing it, I think we can avoid that situation. Thank you for allowing me to present this case to you at your time in this important matter. If you have any questions.
Council, any questions? Mr. Kerstetter.
This is going to be for Mr. Clark or Chief Newman. Have we done a traffic counter or any kind of enforcement study? And before you answer that question, that Kessler down to 85th Street, is that in city limits, or is that is in city limits? Okay.
Yes, if you see the shaded area there, the how it's darker.
Orange-ish?
Yep, the orange
Okay.
is everything that's lighter in color, like off to the west and then to the north, that is outside of the city.
Okay, okay.
No, there has not been any formal traffic counter that rates the number of vehicles nor the speed that we've done in this area.
Okay. How does this compare to other neighborhoods as far as speed limits? I'm thinking,
I'll let Chief Newman talk to it, but
sounds good.
They're the same as any other typical neighborhood. It's 30 mile an hour in residential,
We had
with the
a,
exception of Prairie Lakes.
that's the one I'm thinking of. They requested it, and did we lower that one to 20?
Yes.
Okay, was that after a traffic counter?
I
Okay,
think so.
I
we
think
did.
so too. I would prefer having a traffic counter. That way we kind of know we have data to back up our decision.
yes, recalling we did have a traffic counter because I think we're all surprised that at one vehicle was like 60 or 65 miles an hour, if I recall, maybe 62. That one that really surprised, I think, a lot of us, thinking the machine was broken, but it actually was not.
And the next question I had, so enforcement, do you guys patrol? I'm assuming you guys patrol that, just not at the times that he's specified.
Yeah,
Is there-
I would say I'm sure they probably do the times, those times as well. In that area is probably going to be the moving radar. So all the patrol vehicles are equipped with moving and stationary radar.
Okay,
And more than likely it's going to be moving radar through there.
so,
Because they're on the move, they're capturing the speeds of the vehicles that's coming toward them or moving away from them on the backside.
okay. I guess a multifaceted approach would be nice, in my opinion. Do the traffic counter, get some in presence. I know we have somebody that lives over there that would help out too, as far as his opinion. And to me, having the data, the hard data of the traffic counter would help us make that decision. I'm not saying no, just so you know. So, and then if we don't have signs around the park, can we get those?
That is something that
Or is that an HOA?
I actually had a conversation with our engineer before the council meeting. That's something I want to hear more from them on, because I believe there's studies out there about sign pollution and having too many signs. we don't have them around the other parks right now either. And so maybe around the park, I mean, if there was a sign that said there was a park there, I think the Children at Play sign, I guess I'll wait and see what PEC has to say.
Okay.
When they do some checking, but I would have some concerns.
We get a number. We get a number of requests for Children at Play signs. Throughout the course of my 3.5 years being here, I can't. I mean, I've lost count how many times that we've been requested for Children at Play signs. So I think we need to have a policy in place, or restrict it a little bit because of the sign pollution. I think almost every street could potentially have a Children at Play sign, and so we want to make sure that we're strategic in those approaches. Now, if it's something where an HOA or a sign that that I've seen that says Children at Play, speed limit 20, all on one sign, those are very common. I also think this one and this approach by Ridgefield is different than the one in Prairie Lakes. Prairie Lakes didn't come with the HOA as far as board requesting the speed limit lowered. It was by the residents and the citizens in that area itself, and so not from directly from an HOA. I can tell you that I've already been contacted prior to Ridgefield by another HOA that is also going to be coming and requesting very similar speed limit requests. So just want to let you know that as well. So you're thinking not just on this one, but also looking at the bigger picture of how you as the governing body are going to handle these requests as they come.
I wanted to clarify real quick too, by sign pollution, I don't mean that it's ugly because it's another sign. I mean, there's too many out there, then there's a potential for people not to read them or ignore them. Also, I would say on the deaf child sign, we've done those in the past, and then we just take them down if the family needs to move.
Councilmember Stam.
Let me tag on to what Councilmember Kerstetter was saying. We done this before 2-3 years ago, had a study done. The 85th percentile was below 30 mile an hour. I think it was 26, 27 mile an hour. You always need people to do faster, whether it's 20 or 30. And the council still went against the engineering study. So I'm saying, why waste money and time on a study? I mean, we done the study before, we paid for them to do it, and then the council went against them. So why waste time and money having them do it?
And I don't believe, I mean, of what I'm hearing, I'm not under the impression that we're going to request a full-blown traffic study or analysis from PEC.
But do the traffic count, put the counters down.
Yeah, the counters, we have those internally. And so we own our own traffic counters as a public works department, a street department. We bought those in, I believe, 2020, because the ones that we had at the time were outdated. And so we bought new ones, making sure that we could do some traffic counts ourselves versus, no offense, I'm the first one to say I do not like hiring consultants and engineers as much as possible because of the expense. And so, that's why we bought our own, so then we can upload that data ourselves and have that information. So we're not going to look at a full traffic study, but those counters we own, we can lay those out with our own crews. We're very capable of doing that in-house and saving the $7,500 to $10,000. Anyways. I had to slide that in there. Sorry, Gage, I had to slide that in there.
On the deaf child signs, does the city check with them on a year-to-year basis, or to make sure they haven't moved so they can be taken down?
The last one I knew about was actually in my neighborhood, and the family came to us when they were moving and told us they were going to be moving. So, but we could check.
If you put them up
And that's
there,
something-
should be a check on taking them down so they're not up 6-8 months after the family moves.
And we can maybe note that in the utilities on their water account, making sure that, if and when they do leave, to notify Public Works to then remove that sign. So that absolutely.
I know I actually call people in Derby. I have their names where the signs are at, and I call them just to verify that they still live there.
Yeah, this family, I know, somewhat well. They do text me on a regular basis, so I probably know.
Councilmember Bass.
Has there been any kind of informal voting among your HOA? So it's safe to assume that the majority of the HOA is for reducing the speed limit, or was it just discussed at the actual HOA meeting?
It was discussed at the actual HOA meeting, and everyone was in concert and agreed that that probably should be done, not only for the children, but also the speed limit. After hearing some comments this evening, one of the things that we probably would feel good about was if you put a playground sign on each side of the street where the playground is, and it had a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit. That's a start where the kids mostly play in the summer, fall, and spring. Obviously, you don't go there in the winter very often, but I think there's a lot of options. And or if you want to give us information on signage, we'll put it in.
And to quickly jump on that one too, I do recall, I believe either 2020 or 2021, I did receive questions regarding the same subdivision, put them through the process of saying, this is how you go about potentially requesting a speed limit reduction. That person moved away before they came to a formal request. And so I have had a request to explore, this neighborhood in the past. I do want to make sure you're aware of that as well. So,
Councilmember Wilson.
Chief Newman, is there any state statute about unmarked residential areas? I was thinking for some reason in my testing of Kansas driver to get my Kansas driver's license that there's a set limit for unposted residential areas. I believe it's 25.
30.
Oh, it is 30. Okay.
Residential, if it's unposted, residential is 30, business is 20.
Okay.
Unless otherwise posted.
All right. Thank you.
There are 30-mile-an-hour signs.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Fence on the north and south.
Thank you.
So we're looking for a motion for some formal instruction for staff.
I move for the city staff to gather more information, further investigate the request, and provide information during the next city council meeting on October 18th, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Do they need to know more?
that gives us enough time.
All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries
Thank you.
6-1. Thank you, sir.
7-1.
Oh, math's hard. Item B, approval of supplemental agreement with Short Elliott Hendrickson, Inc.
Good evening, Council President and members of Council. How are you? I'm here. I know it says Mr. Jacob Osso was going to be here to present. He was here earlier, and then I sent him home because it's a long trip back to Nebraska. This is a supplemental agreement in the amount of $17,200 for work in Sunflower Valley. I'd actually received this a while back, and I thought I put it in front of you, and I did not. So this is ratifying some work that is currently underway. Stand for any questions.
Council, any questions?
I make a motion to approve supplemental agreement to Short Elliott Hendrickson Incorporated, in the amount of $17,200 for preliminary final piping services for the 4th Street project, authorized the mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Or any discussion? I guess we didn't discuss it. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item C, approval of purchase of pipeline from NVP Inc.
Put on here for present. Good evening again. And so Mr. Arbuckle and I will kind of tag team this one. This is for a pipeline blanket easement of an abandoned pipeline that runs through kind of at an angle, kitty corner throughout the Sunflower Valley plat. What this did with purchasing this will allow us to then not have the setback and the setback of the road, water and sewer utilities, making this a more developable area. And so instead of shifting all of this outside of a pipeline easement, which they have a blanket easement, but they have a a minimum standard for a setback on a pipeline, 20 or 60 feet, something like that. And purchasing this will then allow us to put the road and utilities where it makes more sense. This is not an active pipeline. This will be capped at each end throughout the course of this project. We will leave the pipe in the ground because it is expensive to remove and it's not causing any issues. Did I sum it up there, Mr. Arbuckle?
The council to, for the mayor's signature on the assignment. That's all we need to do to file the deed. And I'd suggest, since it's set up for Mayor Lou's signature, we wait till he returns to actually have it executed.
Let me ask one question before I recognize the two that have.
He's first.
You mentioned leaving it in the ground. Will we have any issues down the road with doing that as far as EPA stuff? Have we had any issues with that?
In the document, in the assignment, I tried to protect the city by basically saying in the deed of assignment that if there's any pre-existing environmental issues that the Assinors are responsible for, they're still on the hook for that.
Okay.
And we would only be on the hook for anything from this time forward as far as severance of the pipelines or anything that would come out from there. But that's specifically in the deed.
Okay. And this is a common practice to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just not familiar with that. Was that your question? Sorry, Mr. Evans. Councilmember Kerstetter.
How long is this, any idea how long this pipeline's been inactive?
I think it goes back to the early 20s, I would guess, maybe before that. We have
Okay.
probably 15 or 20 assignments of various pipeline easement properties in this one document.
That's really old. So they have no plans of, I guess, how do we know it's capped? Or we're going to cap that section ourselves? Or are they capping it? How is it going to be maintained in activity?
Well, it's set up so that we would do it ourselves. If we did that, we would do the capping.
Well, I mean, because piggyback off of what Mr. Anderson said, I'm concerned about prolonged issues as far as, because this can open a can of worms we don't want to get into. Since it's abandoned, that helps out a lot because I have a lot of notes if it was not abandoned. But my concern would be anything that may be in there. How do we cap it appropriately? Just to save us some headaches in the future.
Well, that's why we take on that responsibility. They don't want to be stuck with our capping efforts either. So at some point in time, you have to say who's going to do what. And that's the way I tried to draw the line is any termination we would handle. Anything before that was environmental issues. What federal law applies also, they're responsible for.
And
you can't get out of federal liability for environmental issues just by saying King's X, I've sold it to somebody else, I'm not responsible.
I understand. So if we cap that section, is there going to be a cap on their section? I'm picturing a pipe.
It would be on our side, but I assume it'd be right at the boundary, but it would be on
Okay.
our side.
Because
In case they open it back up again, not like they're going to do that, but
no, they rerouted. So the active pipe is to the south of the new platted subdivision.
Okay.
So there's a new line that I don't know when it was installed. That's the south of this property. That one will remain in existence, and that's what actually fills Magellan. And so this is just an old abandoned pipe. I don't know if you've seen some of the old pictures. We actually just posted some last week for our birthday. There used to be a few oil derricks, throughout the Valley Center, just a couple. And so there's pipes all over this great community. And even if you drive out in the TIF district area, you'll see a lot of pipes just laying along the side that we've dug up, and removed properly. So this is not an uncommon thing, especially in Valley Center, for there to be a lot of old pipes in the ground that, when the time comes, you address it and you cap them accordingly. And, if there is any environmental issues down the road, it would be an effort that MVP, along with potentially the city of Valley Center, could get into. But that's with any ground that's anywhere in Valley Center, because there are pipes everywhere in this community, unfortunately.
a little leery about it, but I'm done.
Councilmember Stam.
Just for my curiosity, what type of pipe is it? What size? Is it cast? Or do they give you a clue what type of pipe it is?
That information has not been shared. I'm not sure.
That's from the 20th podcast.
Councilmember Colbert.
Yeah, how far south does that pipeline go? Is it all one, or is there two separate lines?
Well, I assume it's several lines, different locations. It's the release for a gross amount of ground. It's not described exactly where it is within this area. We're talking about the area northeast of the tracks in that quarter section, that northwest quarter. They have gross easements in there, which means they're not described exactly where they are. And we have a release of all of the gross easements in that area from this company.
Okay, so if we cap it off at the area that you're suggesting, then anything south of that is still going to be functional.
If it's south of this quarter section we're talking about, yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have a follow-up. Do we have a cost for what we have to cap the line, or that is an option?
It's an option. We
Okay.
can also use it too.
So we're
So-
just buying this so we have the rights to, we don't have to keep that easement open. We're able to build up to that.
Right on top of
Okay.
it. There's communities that put, they use it for telecom. Some even put water lines. We're not doing that, but these little pipes can be used for a multitude of things. It's a conduit.
If we do, just hypothetically, if we do end up capping it, we have an approximate cost of what it costs to cap an oil line or oil lines.
It's just in the bid as an ad alternate in the SCH bid that for the construction of this.
And that's rolled into the property owner's price, or the city's on the hook for that?
That'd be just rolled into the overall cost of that project.
Okay. Thank you. Council, any more questions? Yeah,
Just
you.
since it's already considered abandoned, it might already be capped. I don't know that they've relayed that information. With it being abandoned, it's either cut and capped or it's valve shut. I mean, it's not active right now.
Okay.
So there's whatever leftover might be in there, but it could already be severed from their active system. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think MVP purchased it in 2013 or 20. Yeah. And they're not sure what, I mean, a lot of these companies, they just purchase random pipelines and abandoned easements, or not abandoned easements, but easements to then hopefully someday get paid. Another industry.
Council, are there any more questions or a motion?
Motion to approve the purchase agreement with MVP Incorporated for $5,000 and authorize mayor to sign.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item D, Arbor Valley Phase 1 approval of construction administration contract.
Good evening. Tonight, I am requesting approval for an agreement between city and PEC or PEC to conduct construction administration services for the Arbor Valley subdivision project. Construction has started over there. For your knowledge, this is the subdivision on the east side of Ford, close to 81 Speedway on the north side. I think last meeting we had an agreement approved for inspection. This is the office side doing pay apps, change orders, RFIs, all the correspondence with the contractor.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
Is this covered for the, how long is this for phase 1, 2, 3?
Just phase one.
Just phase
Same
1,
as
just
the
like the first one?
inspection. Yep.
How many houses are in phase 1? 34? That's a pretty steep price for $15,000 for 34 houses.
Yeah, it's just based off of contract time, how many pay apps we're considering, field visits. Well,
Do we get a refund if you guys come in under?
this is a lump sum fee, so
All right. Doesn't hurt to ask. And this is incurred into the special taxes. Okay, thank you.
So this is the Art Marquez development. This is one that we had a little miscommunication with the engineering firm that had developed the actual construction documents and had gone through the planning process with JEO Consulting Group. And so now this is kind of a cleanup and picking up this project so it doesn't miss any more time and putting PC on it. Did receive another verbal quote from SEH, and PC came in lower.
Okay.
Council?
Motion to approve the construction administration services contract with PEC, the amount of $15,000, and authorize mayor to sign.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item E, executive session, attorney-client privilege.
Excuse me. Motion to recess into executive session for consultation with the city attorney pursuant of KSA 75-4319B2 to discuss the municipalization of the electric utility, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. The executive session is to include governing body and city attorney with mayor via phone. The open meeting will reconvene in the council chambers in 10 minutes or 7:43.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will reconvene at 7:43.
see if I got it.
Meeting will come to order.
All right, we met in executive session with the mayor via phone and city attorney Arbuckle. During the meeting, we determined to use attorney-client privilege for the legal analysis presented. I know I'm forgetting something. For Articles 6 and 7 of the report.
Second.
Did I forget anything? Oh, no further action was taken. Thank you.
We have no motion on that. Correct. Okay. Thank you. Item 12, consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13, staff reports. Mr. Schrack.
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick reminder that this upcoming Thursday, we will be having our Main Street Valley Center Farmers Market again. So that'll be starting at 4 p.m. in the evening. As the days are getting shorter, we might shorten that as well. So it might end before 8 o'clock. So if you want to come down, be sure to come sooner rather than later. But again, this will be this Thursday from 4 to 8 p.m. Love to see everyone there. Thank you.
Public Safety Director Newman.
I think you already have flyers up there on your desk. I just wanted to remind you all that we have open house for the fire department the next couple of nights from 6 to 8 p.m. And this Saturday, we have the Faith in Blue at, over here at the community center in the parking lot, probably where most of the activity will be. So, and that's from 11 to 2. Looks like the weather's going to be great. So hope to see you all come out.
Thank you. Public Works Director Eggleston.
So as many of you know, our most recent mill and overlay was completed last week on Goff, Fieldstone, and a small portion of Meadow, and then a small section of North and Urban. They came through, completed that. I thought it went very, very well with minimal impacts to the schools. They worked very, very hard to adjust their schedules to have minimal impact to the schools. Also, last Friday, we received 3 proposals for our water treatment plant. We have a panel consisting of myself, Administrator Clark, Assistant Administrator Smith, Utilities Manager Wade Gaylord, and Infrastructure Manager Ron Ekstrom. We are going through those proposals right now in hope we have a meeting set for Monday to convene and go through our scores and decide which ones we will have come before you for an interview. So that process is on the move.
Thank you, sir. City Engineer Shear. City Attorney Arbuckle. Assistant City Administrator of Finance, Smith. It's a mouthful. We need to massage that title a little bit. Make it an acronym or something.
Math is hard. EST. I love that. I just have one item this evening. Wanted to share with you that we are going to have some staffing changes within the finance department here. Our city treasurer, Mr. Matt Kane, has accepted the role of finance director for the city of Andover. Just want to say congratulations to Matt. And congratulations. You wanted to say something.
We're used to you yelling from the back of the room. You
I know.
have to go back.
Should we
You guys go back.
Oh, I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you to all of you, as well as everyone here that's really given me the chance to get to this point. So I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for all your hard work, and don't forget about us.
I still live here. So.
Okay. Well,
Very hard. I'll be around.
Mr. Clark.
And we will really miss Matt. You know, we call him Mr. Valley Center. I don't think there's anybody more enthusiastic about being on PBS as Mr. Cade is. I will never forget some of the memories of Victor Hawkstrom saying, "Are you okay?" When he was spinning the raffle thing to pull out a name in victory. I was really sad when my DVR left me that day, and so I missed and lost that recording. But I will, some point in time, when you return, Mr. Kane, because you will be back, we will show that during your retirement. So thank you for all that. And also, without Matt, we would not have the app, the Valley Center app. And so he's instrumental in making that happen as the app guru. And we are currently, we are currently up to 1,229 downloads. $150 because of Fall Fest. So hats off to Matt on that. Also, too, I really didn't have much. One last thing. This Sunday, there is another very special, important day. We have all these things going on, but it's also Lloyd's birthday. October 16th. October 16th, a few Sundays. October 16th, not this Sunday, sorry. October 16th. Other than that, staying for any questions. Oh, yeah, vote for the water tower. We all forgot to talk about the water tower. Are you kidding me? Okay, so we are in a contest, and was it Chris, you saw KSN? I guess there's 14 other Kansas towns.
Kansas, and some of them are very lame.
And Valley Center is the picture.
We can win.
And so please go on to Facebook. I'm sure there'll be a push notification at some point. You can vote daily from different emails account. I don't know if we're supposed to say this. And so this is a way to manipulate, but we did jump from third place. See, Lou, when you're gone, marriage just is all lost. So from third place, we jumped like instantly to first after my email went out. So I don't know how many total votes came in like a 10-minute period, but we jumped, like we just catapulted. But you can vote more than once. Make sure that you let your friends, neighbors, everybody know. That link is also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and it will be on LinkedIn here shortly as well. Our other communities around this area in Sedgwick County are also helping us as well. I've seen it posted on other communities' LinkedIn pages asking for our vote for the Valley Center Water Tower as well. So it's kind of a fun contest that I'm sure that we will crush the competition. Thank you.
Mayor Cicerillo. Councilmember Stam.
I just have one thing. I talked to Brent and Eric at the Fall Festival. And it's something staff and PD, they all need to look at maybe for next year is allowing people to walk around the pier like the fair did this year. I talked to highway patrolmen over there for the days and they had little or no incidents. In fact, they had less incidents than they did having the beer garden. And I can probably guarantee you there was people walking around there with styrofoam cups with drinks in it. But just something to look for next year. Talk amongst yourselves, get a feeling for it. I like to see it happen.
Baby steps, Councilmember Stam. Took us a long time to get the beer garden.
Well, it's time to take big steps.
So you got to plant the seed. We got a year, right?
Yes.
Councilmember Evans.
I concur with Councilmember Stam on that last one. I have nothing.
Well, can we do a vote on that?
Councilmember Bass.
I'm also in 100% council member stand for next year. And that's all I have.
Almost for baby steps.
I will pass on commenting on that to break the cycle. Councilmember Gregory.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilson.
I will bring the cycle right back around. I am in very much agreement with those three gentlemen, those wise gentlemen on the other end of the counter. For sure, well, I think it would be something to look at for sure. But yeah, it was great attendance. Got to see a lot of great people there, so good turnout. Rodney, thank you very much on the overlay. The overlay job went very well over in those areas. It looks like most of our neighbors were able to get their cars out of the street and let those gentlemen do their job and do it well. So thank you on that. Absolutely. That's all I have.
Councilmember Colbert. Councilmember Colbert. There we go.
Okay, this evening, you're not going to get out early because I got some things here for you. The first one is the legislative session is preparing to come into existence. And if you have any bills that you worry, would like information on or anything, please let me know and I'll keep track of it and bring it before the council. The second one is the WAMPO sent a letter out on electrical vehicles fracture deployment plans that were approved for $1.5 billion for all 50 states, showing where the new electric stations are going to be, plus a bunch of other stuff. So if you're interested, WAMPO has it on their webpage, but if you need a copy, let me know and I'll get you a copy. Last Saturday, I volunteered to help with the bike and pedestrian program under WAMPO. We had a survey at the corner of Main, 5th, from noon to 2 o'clock. The figures up. I have an idea what they are, but all we did was just mark numbers down on that there. This will help us when we have time in promoting the bike and program for Valley Center. It may be a couple years down the road, but it'll be worth keeping track. They did agree with me on one thing, that Valley Center is now getting to a place where one station for counting something like this is not feasible. They want to do next year and the year after to have a minimum of 2 or 3 people counting for bicycles, electric bikes, and scooters and everything else on that there. Also this weekend, get your order in now if you want pens, flyers, posters, or anything of that nature from the league. I ain't gonna bring them home. I'm gonna make people bring them. I didn't say that. But he's the one who's gonna pick all the pens up. So, with that, if there's no other business, I'll make motion the meeting be adjourned.
Second. Have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion, meeting adjourned.
Yeah. Lou fired me into